Our government and all my life have just been managing the decline.
Do you remember when they were boasting under John Key that we were a rock star economy?
I think they said a rock oyster economy. You just didn't hear properly.
I told you when you got this job, you got the worst job in the world. If we don't turn this around, we're going to look like Venezuela or Myanmar. We are resource rich in energy. Start exploiting it.
Okay, viewers, it's my pleasure to have Winston Peters, the leader of NZFirst, in here, and he's going through the same set of questions that I've got the other political parties to do. Auckland's deal with Wellington we're going to open with. Auckland's a third of the country, 40% of the GDP. Wellington still treats us like we're a problem to manage rather than a grown-up city capable of making its own decisions. So if NZFirst is in government after the election, what actual changes for Auckland?
Well, there's a change happening now to a lot of councils because we're taking away unelected iwi representation. And what we're saying that everybody's equal. If you want to be on the council, stand for an election and everybody will get the same rights. But the one municipality that's missing out at the moment on that change is Auckland. And you've got a body set up that's unelected. And we're going to do that by a supplementary order paper. We're going to fix that as well before the election.
That's not really the problem we've got with Auckland, though, in some ways. They're actually more sensible than the former national MPs I've got.
Well, some of them are former national MPs. That's the problem.
Okay, well, anyway,
they didn't show any sense of common sense when they were in Parliament.
So what's the one thing Wellington needs to get out of the way of?
Well, this decision-making that is happening in Wellington is totally inappropriate because Auckland, of its size and of its industrial and commercial growth, is best to answer many of its own problems. Instead of being facilitated in its growth by Wellington, it's been hampered by it. That's your number one problem.
I agree.
And then the extraordinary delays that go with that.
Oh, fair enough. That's good. Okay, rates CRL and who pays. So the rates are going up by 7.9% in Auckland this year. They'll only be 3.5% next year, but do you understand why we did that?
Well, look, I followed with close proximity and clarity the rates increases. I know Whanganui, for example, or Wanganui, when it was in the good old days before somebody tried to change its name, is at 2.2 rates increases. Then you've got some going at 35%. We don't take the view that there should be a rates cap like some parties. What we're saying is if you want rates to be reflective of what the expenditure should be, given the costs to ratepayers, then take some serious attention to who you put on council. Don't get the wrong council and then start complaining about the outcome. A la Wellington, what a circus that's been.
Well, yeah, you're right about that. Well, basically, we're putting it up because that's 7.9% is exactly the cost of City Rail Link. So we've got a 0% rate rise plus a train, which costs too much in here. Do you think that at $5.5 billion for 3.5 km City Rail Link was good value?
No, it's appalling. It was an appalling waste of money. A extraordinary amount of money spent in the same way that has happened over and over for the last 40 years in this country. This has become the cost-plus country. There's only two exceptions to that. One is a standout example. It's the second Tauranga Harbour Bridge was built under cost and on time.
And the Auckland Hospital, when I was in
And
charge.
the Auckland Hospital is the only other one. In 40 years, that's it.
That's it.
That's shocking, isn't it?
Oh, amazing, really.
But that's why you got all these rates problems. Because every time these people, these consultants, these businessmen, these lawyers, they all know the ratepayer and the taxpayer is an easy rip-off and there's nobody to stop them like a wise, practical central government or wise local government. And that's a big challenge for us in 2026. But do this we must.
I like that. Okay, people are sick of money disappearing into processes, reports, layers, people clipping them. We're just talking about that now. How would you embed a better, faster, cheaper mindset across the government? I've nearly got that happening here. You hear people say better, faster, cheaper. They never would have said that in their lives before they heard me say it.
Well, the only way you can do it in 2026 is to get rid of Tweedledum and Tweedledee. You know what they are, don't you? It's National Labour swapping it for the last 40 years and making a mess of things. What has happened in the last 40 years? Well, they've had control in every respect. And I know it's an MMP environment, but they've had control in every respect. What are the good things that they have left compared to the things that other parties have done, for example? And it's been a massive hamstrung. And what we're saying in this election is, this is a now or never. This is an inflection election. If we don't turn this around, we're going to look like Venezuela or Myanmar. So make up your mind in 2026.
Yeah, well, basically, our government and all my life have just been managing the decline.
Yeah, it's sad.
Not good.
Oh, well, but how could you have that, though? Do you remember when they were boasting under John Key that we were a rock star economy? A rock star economy growing at what? 3%.
I think they said a rock oyster economy. You just didn't hear properly.
No, they said a rock star economy, and I'm sitting there thinking,
Rock oyster.
These people are nuts. Yeah, but even now we got Labor and National arguing about 1 or 2% growth rate. That's not even enough for the children who are leaving school and going into the adult life. You've got to go at 3% plus. So we know we've got to have some dramatic change, and we can get there. But the levels of productivity got to change, the level of added value got to change, and the waste has got to happen as well. It's got to stop happening as well.
The number one thing that Auckland has appealed off is traffic and getting the city moving. And will you give Auckland more control over transport planning and funding?
I will if you don't outlaw the car.
That's part of transport.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't think so. I mean, I told you when you got this job, you got the worst job in the world. You're facing the city that's been mucked about by bureaucrats. They're hostile to two things in Auckland. It's apparent to me, and I'm a long-standing Aucklander in the sense I grew up as a young lawyer in Queen Street, and Queen Street lawyer and all those things we used to have. Hostile to small business and hostile to cars. The outcome is appalling in Auckland.
And they haven't been that helpful to trains either, but I'm a great believer in shifting stuff off trucks onto trains.
Yes, well,
it's a lot more effective than...
We'll get the trains going to the mass, go to everything else, but also, who says, I'm going to go to Queen Street and see what's going on? No one's saying that anymore. Guess why? Because you're not allowed to go to Queen Street.
We are working on that.
You're allowed to most in a difficult way.
What I need is people to get out of my road from Wellington.
Yes, I know, but also, how shall I say it? I went into Wanganui recently and I thought, this is fantastic. I want to go to that restaurant. I can park the car there and walk inside and go to the restaurant. It was almost unique if I compare Auckland and Wellington. The hostility to small business and cars knows no bounds, and Wellington's paying a massive price for it now.
Right, we're the economic engine. We've got more than 1,300 startups. Companies like Rocket Lab and Holter are doing well. What's your plan to make Auckland a higher wage, higher productivity city?
Well, that's a very, very good question, but you can make all the statements out you like. But if you don't change the policies that we've been pursuing recently, or for the last 10, 15, 20 years or 30 years, we're going to go nowhere. Take, for example, the gaming industry. The game industry is like Rocket Lab. They're brilliant. There's all these bright young New Zealanders who are super smart. I don't know how we uniquely happen to do it, but we know we did have Rutherford. Then we got the Rocket Lab. We got all these smart business people in this country, and young business people in particular. Instead of incentivise their staying, we let Australia just attract them away from us by incentivising them coming to Australia. We've got to be mad to do that, and we want to turn that around. But the number of things the other parties will not answer is this country is short of a future fund of between $1 and $200 billion, and we need it tomorrow. Now, you find that with a group of men and women businessmen, not politicians. The last people you want running this is the businessmen and our politicians. Our plan is to have that money and the right group of men and women, place after place, handling our asset value in the future, and then you'll stand around and watch Auckland turn around and grow. It'll take off.
Well, in fact, I started a tech alliance here because the government didn't know how to do that. And so I just need the government to support me, not invent it and compete, please.
No, I'm just saying I understand that. That's just why I spent 2.5 hours one time with a guy called Lee Kuan Yew. I kind of think he knew more about how to run an economy than half the so-called experts I keep on hearing these days.
I don't disagree with that. I'm going up there next week anyhow, and that whole example of Tim Arsek is brilliant. Exactly how we should run our SOEs, but I nearly had Labor agreeing to do that, then in came Stephen Joyce and wrecked it.
Yeah,
Nevertheless,
but I must say this, but we need Labor to understand that as well.
oh, well, they almost did actually. Here's something they do understand that ACT doesn't, which is events, tourism and the bed night levy. So would you support the bed night levy in Auckland, which all those hoteliers there want me to collect it to get big events going, but ACT doesn't like it? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, of course you can have the bed night levy. After all, you're trying to run the thing. But the other side of the coin is I wouldn't be finding 75 million while I find how to bring the guy Williams here.
Oh, I'm totally.
I wouldn't be supporting that, mate.
We've got, me too.
No, I give the bed levy, that'll be far cheaper.
We've got plenty of our own tattooed singers. But we lost. I'm really angry that as a result of the current Minister of Tourism that we lost the Sail GP. Sail GP is not only an interesting event that brings people around the world, it's actually an open window onto our marine tech industry. And we lost it.
But take a grip here. We've lost Sail GP, right? We used to have Formula One. We lost that. We lost the Sevens. How many times we have to keep on losing before people realise the people running the country don't know what they're doing?
No, those are city decisions. Yes. I want permissive legislation.
Yeah, you're quite right.
Okay.
And how you lost Sail GP is beyond me.
Well, it's a combination of ACT opposing the bed night levy and
you guys
appointing a minister.
You guys voted for ACT. You got ACT in Auckland all over the darn place. I mean, you pay a price when you start experimenting.
Blame me for that.
They've been around They've been around as long as NZFirst, and they've been in government how many times? Once.
No, that's too often.
That's not expensive.
Auckland has bills coming. Lots of things we should have built years ago. Tax is going to superannuation and health. Everyone promises infrastructure. How will your party pay for Auckland's future without racking up the bill for the next generation? Because, and this is the main thing, our superannuation is heading for a cliff. How do we fix that?
Who wrote that?
I was asking here.
Well, you tell that person who wrote that person there. It's 5.2% of our GDP, which is about half what most countries' problems are. So it's not even a problem yet. And then we got the Cullen Fund, which is $92 billion to cover the rising costs in the future. Of course, nobody mentions that from the National Party and ACT point of view. And guess why they don't mention it? Because they don't tend to use it for the purpose of smoothing out the rising costs of the baby burners. And the baby burners, might I tell you, are all here now. They're all retired now. And here comes the real rub, though. They're not mentioning the $92 billion because they intend to privatise it and not use it for its purpose. It's not a worry. Here's the reason what I say to them is stop looking at the old and the young because of your economic failure. Get out of the road and let somebody else run the economy properly. We wouldn't be worried about this.
Good answer. Right. What's the one thing Auckland would notice within 3 years because you're having strong influence there?
They'd be heading towards a 5% growth economy, and they'd be certainly saluting that.
That's a pretty good answer. Since Trump discovered the Straits of Hormuz, we've had a useful reminder that energy resilience actually matters. What's your party's plan to keep the lights on and fuel moving when the global supply chain gets shaky?
Look hard at our country. We are resource-rich in energy. Start exploiting it.
Yeah, and are we allowed to go mining still?
Yeah, if we're going to go mining, the moment we can cut past the greens and get to the working class people of this country and let those working class people know that their future is now being hindered by these people who live in the leafy suburbs who won't visit you in 1,000 years and want to run the country the way Geneva thinks rather than the way Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, or dare I say it, the provinces think.
Very good indeed. Thank you very much for this rapid fire. Last time you used a hop card. Have you used a hop card? I don't suppose you do when you've got a driver.
No, well, I have used the hop card, but I just went to Waiheke Island on the ferry.
Naughty.
The gold card, see.
I used the hop card to go to Ponsonby last night. Bus, train, ferry, bike, walk or car?
The whole lot.
Good. Apartment, townhouse or villa?
You mean where I live?
Well, no, just you. Just
One
your
villa.
options.
Villa.
He's got a villa, ladies and gentlemen, round the corner from where I've got an apartment, just in case. We're almost neighbours, really, and we actually coexist.
But I love the character of parts of Auckland.
But you can have more. You can have the character part and have an apartment right in the middle of it. I've got one.
Well, yes, I know. As long as you don't get them both screwed up, so that these beautiful villa areas that are unique and quaint in all parts of Australasia get built out so they've got no sunlight, no nothing. Be very careful.
All right. EV, hybrid or petrol?
It's petrol.
Good on you.
Or diesel, actually.
Oh, yeah, all the diesel, yeah.
Well,
I've got an EV and a hybrid and a diesel.
But I got to drive a hell of a distance, so, you know.
True.
You got to make it back.
You got a driver. I don't get a driver. Piss me off. Name an Auckland volcano.
No. I drive ourselves when it's private.
Yeah, I realise that, but I had a guy who'd risen to the dizzy heights of being the Minister of Consumer Affairs recently, who announced that he has a driver so he could take me home from the football, and I didn't have one, and I thought, oh, that's okay. Name an Auckland volcano that's not Rangitoto or Mount Eden.
Oh, go to Mangere.
There you go. One piece of Auckland infrastructure besides a stadium that makes you proud.
One piece of Auckland infrastructure like the stadium that makes me proud.
Not a stadium, something else.
I can't quite answer the question other than say I frequently fly back over the city, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful city. Auckland, and we still live in a beautiful country. You look from the air, it's beautiful. You think, how can so many things been going wrong with such a beautiful place?
Well, my answer, that was the bridge. I think the Harbour Bridge is bloody good. It's gone for years.
This bridge is incredible.
It'll stay for years. It's well designed. And
all these young people today nobody remembers Nippon Clip-On.
That's clever.
Yeah, nobody remembers, but this bridge was expanded by the Japanese.
Yeah.
And I do support your idea going north, going across Miola Reef, because all the other ones are massively expensive and costly as anything.
And don't solve the problem.
No.
Good boy. If you could take a sledgehammer to one building...
No, one guy just told me just in the last 24 hours that these people can actually build another bridge right next to that bridge.
What for? Why would you do that?
Well, the question I thought was now, okay, so what's your roading going to look like, though?
Yeah, but that's something...
Forget about the bridge. How about the roading now?
The traffic jams at either end of the bridge, not on the bridge.
That's where the cost's going to come.
Of course.
When it's all over, it'll blow out.
Basically dumb, you're right.
It'll blow out just like the ferries. They bought two massive ferries. The infrastructure cost was 80% more.
Oh, there was no...
That's why we cancelled the darn things.
If you could take a sledgehammer to one building in the city, which one is it going to be first? Knock down something. What would you knock down?
Oh, actually, this is not an architectural masterpiece city. I have to tell you, I'm rather saddened by that. I mean, Adrian Burr is sadly dead now, but Adrian Burr did build some seriously architecturally well-designed buildings in the city.
I liked Adrian Burr.
They're standout buildings, and I thought, why didn't we have an architectural standard of that?
But he wasn't an architect. He was a thoughtful developer.
He was.
Good guy. He was the best.
But I looked at all his architectural buildings and I thought, construction, I thought, that is what Auckland should be looking like. Imagine that had been applied 40, 50 years ago.
Well, there's a couple for me there. I'd knock down the bloody St James. We're wasting a whole lot of money keeping that shitty old building up again, so it'll lose more money, but then again, I'll probably lose votes.
Well, that's where the Beatles were when they came here years ago, you know.
I was a part owner of that.
That's where the Beatles were. They're upstairs waving out to everybody. Don't you remember that?
No, that was in the town hall they waved out of that because I was there.
Yeah.
I used to own that, part owner of the St James. We couldn't believe how lucky
someone bought it. They weren't the town hall, they were at St James.
No, they might have played there, but they stood outside.
Check it out.
I was there, mate.
Why would they be at the town hall? They didn't sing there. They
no, but that's where we all waved out and shook it, and that's where
I'm getting home now if there's evidence.
Anyway,
memory's important when you get older, you know.
And yeah, get one.
That's why you should drink 3 cups of coffee, 3 cups of coffee before 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, what's Auckland's biggest problem in one word?
Overpopulation and lack of infrastructure.
Not bad. Traffic, I'd have said, but still, that's a good answer.
That's what.
And our biggest opportunity.
Well, if you ban back the population, you will get and start on the infrastructure. You'll be doing something that'll be around 50, 60, 100 years from now.
2.5 years more of me is probably the best opportunity because they're not going to get any more after that. But there you go. Thank you very much, Winston.
Your job is to find a successor. Surely, your job is to find a successor before you walk off.
Well, I'm certainly not going to do it again. After you want to spend a day in the room with some of my councillors, that is inhumane treatment to human beings. Thank you very much, Winston.
Thank you very much. I know it's not easy, quite honestly.
That's one thing you voters may not know. We met on Eden Park playing rugby against each other many, many years ago, and as Winston reminds me, my team, Te Papa, got up 22-0 and managed to only get a draw. They fought back, these buggers.